What's up, ego hackers? Welcome to CS Joseph Podcast. And today's question is, what can an INTP do to become an entrepreneur? Gosh, INTP entrepreneurs are like pretty rare. They don't often happen. It's usually only the shadow focused ones, the ENTJ focused ones, that end up becoming entrepreneurs as a result. And they're a lot more systems oriented, less people oriented, and actually like closer to their greed deadly sin than instead of their gluttony deadly sin, which you often find with ESFJ focused INTPs, and that can continue to be a problem. So there's a lot of different things, but I like in terms of INTPs though, I like to think of three different things that could actually help the situation. So that's trust, and then people, and then systems. First thing that an INTP entrepreneur has got to work on is trust. Their extroverted thinking nemesis just makes it so difficult for them to trust individual people with specific tasks. I know this because I'm a fellow NTP. I have extroverted thinking critic, and like running my own businesses and like and having people work for me, etc. Having to trust them to do specific tasks and to do specific things for me is an extremely difficult thing for me. And honestly, it's even way more difficult for an INTP to do it with their introverted sensing child, which can just take on any obligation or any task and they'll just nose the grindstone and just get it done and just kind of endure their way through it. But at the same time, extroverted thinking nemesis constantly is questioning, if not worrying, about the people on their team or the people working for them, and these people's intelligence or capability to actually get the job done, mixing with their extroverted sensing trickster, where they're completely unaware of other people's performance. And that can continue to be a huge issue. So because of that, they end up oftentimes destroying their relationships with people underneath them that they hire, basically, because they're just so worried. Their TE nemesis just worries about the thinking of people on their team. And that continues to be a problem every single day. A huge problem. So it's really important to stay on top of that. INTPs have to develop the healthy habit of learning how to trust people that they hire. Here's the other thing. People that they hire, I recommend that they actually get to know those people ahead of time. Instead of just, reading a resume and hiring someone based off their credentials. That means they'd have to get to know them, they'd have to actually type them, have a conversation with them, and, take a more Elon Musk approach. Elon Musk, he's an INTP, but he doesn't hire people off their resumes. He doesn't hire people off their education or their credentials or qualifications. He doesn't care about any of that. He's gone on record saying this multiple times. It's like, hey, do I like you? Do you give me a good impression? Are you someone that I think would be great to be on the team? Demonstrate your capability. It's all about capability at the end of the day. But again, he's had to learn that his entire life, because his extroverted sensing trickster is just completely unaware of other people's performance and capability. So it's really hard for the guy to hire. It's just super hard, But Elon Musk was able to develop a habit, if not a system, around being able to trust people that he hired instead of relying on what they say on their piece of paper or their resume. I mean, why not? Because people usually lie. And that's a healthy way of his using his extroverted thinking nemesis and being like, hey, I'm really worried about those credentials there, but I want to actually get to know this person and become familiar with them. And the more familiar you are with somebody, the more likely it is you as an INTP are actually going to be able to trust them. And you will not be able to engage in any form of entrepreneurship until you can actually get that handled. So the next thing also is with people, you really got to go out of your way to understand people and how they work. Increase your ethical awareness with extroverted feeling inferior. People that you hire, they're going to hire you because they like you. What are you doing to make yourself desirable and likable ahead of time as an entrepreneur? It's not just about the pay. It's not just about the benefits. It's not just about how you can raise money. It has everything also to do with corporate culture. Are you creating a work environment that you yourself, the INTP, would be actually comfortable to be in? That's a major issue. The other thing as an INTP entrepreneur, along with that, is that are you really going to allow your gluttonous nature to actually get in the way of your productivity? Would you be hiring people that would do the same thing? You also have to lead by example. That's another issue. And then ultimately, you need to have the proper systems. Systems to entrepreneurship. Do you understand sales and marketing? Do you understand regular business operations? Do you understand the lean startup model? This is why I recommend going to csjoseph.life/reading and reading the Entrepreneurship 16. All of those books have value, although the final book list I personally think doesn't have much value, but then again, I might be really ignorant for myself to say that because I'm personally biased and hate that book. But there are a lot of people out there who have, it's called Traction, who have gained benefits from that book, etc. But like ultimately, at the end of the day, like it's up to you. But the first 15 books are extremely high value, and I highly recommend them because if you don't understand at least those basics, the basics provided by the first 15 books, the Entrepreneurship 16 on csjoseph.life/reading, you will not be able to have the proper systems, since you're triple systematic INTPs, to actually be able to become a successful entrepreneur. You have to know what sales funnels are. You have to know how Facebook ads work. Because here's the thing. Being an NTP entrepreneur, you have to know every single inch of your company. The reason why is because your extroverted sensing trickster is completely unaware of what anyone else is doing. So if you're not aware of what other people are doing, you yourself have to learn every aspect of your company, which means it starts with you. If you're the CEO, INTP, it really starts with you. You literally learn how to do something and then you do it. You create a system or a standard operating procedure around how to do it, and then you hire someone, give them the standard operating procedure, and then they just do that. But you can't allow other people to take on tasks that you have never done before yourself, at least at the beginning of your business. Later towards your business, when you learn how to trust people and recognize talent as you develop those habits, okay, yeah, sure, you can. Another way to do this, there's a book in the Entrepreneurship 16 that actually explains the following 3 principles: humble, hungry, and smart. Are you humble, hungry, and smart? Humble means like you have the humility to recognize that you don't have all the answers, which is really hard to do for like a TI hero. And then on top of that, being hungry, having a work ethic instead of just, succumbing to your gluttony, and having a work ethic where you actually learn how to deny your gluttony and deny yourself in order for the sake of productivity. You need that healthy habit too. And then smart means people smart. You just really understand people. If you don't get these 3 basic principles down, you'll never be successful as an entrepreneur. But beyond that, again, you have to learn how to trust people. You have to trust people with the tasks that you assign them. And instead of just, bumbling in while they're mid-task and then becoming an ENTJ shadow micromanager, interrupting their work and then doing it for them, that's wrong. Eventually, they'll just learn how to hate you and then leave you as a result. Is that really the kind of relationship you want with your underlings or your employees or people that work for you? That's just not how it works. You have to learn how to trust. And believe me when I say, from a TE critic, it's super hard. It's super hard to do that. But again, it's easy for you to trust, though, if you learn how to do everything yourself first, then create a standard operating procedure, or teach your operations manager how to do it so that they make a standard operating procedure, and then give that to one of your underlings to take over that particular task, right, or responsibility. That's literally how it works. Like you can have the greatest product in the world. You could have the greatest website in the world. You could have the greatest, sales funnel in the world. But if you can't understand how to handle people and basic operations, business operations, you're not going to get anywhere. That's why you got to read books like Lean Startup or books like The Goal, right? That's what it's all about. You got to understand, books like your, systems like Simple Goals and how to write them. How to write standard operating procedures. UX design, like the book Don't Make Me Think. You need to utilize these resources in order to maintain your competitive edge. Otherwise, you're going to get into something where you just end up becoming sick and disgusted with yourself. And then you may end up actually blaming the people that you hired yourself and then pulling out the chair out from under them like a very dangerous game of musical chairs. And it would all be your fault. That's not how to run a business. You got to understand that a business, people really do come first, then systems. The thing is that all of your systems have to be created in such a way with people in mind. And if you really are worried that maybe they're not smart enough or capable at doing it, maybe that's because you didn't write the standard operating procedure properly. So it really actually does come back to you as the INTP entrepreneur. It really is on you. So again, you can prevent these pitfalls with just getting educated. That's all it takes. But once you're educated, you'll be dangerous enough to get it going. Then eventually hire yourself an operations manager to handle all that for you as a result. And then you can move on to the next thing. It'll be pretty fantastic when it comes down to it. And I think as a result of that, you'll be a lot happier in your life and a lot happier as an entrepreneur. Imagine you, an INTP, actually capable and able to rely on other people instead of doing the whole, if you want something done right, do it yourself, TI hero approach. Because that's how ultimately you'll be successful as an entrepreneur. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Hopefully this answered the question, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.